Thanks for joining us today. My name is Kathleen Holloway-Jenn. I'm one of the Senior Directors of Employment and Newcomer Services at the Y in the National Capital Region, so Ottawa. I currently oversee our Newcomer Services portfolio, so all of our IRCC funded programs and also some of our provincially funded newcomer programs. And I'm here today with Imen, who is our director of our Power of Trades program, and Sebastian, who is also senior director of employment and newcomer services. He oversees our employment programs. And we wanted to share a little bit about some partnership work that we've been doing, leveraging stakeholder partnerships, pathways to settlement, and economic immigration for internationally trained newcomers, specifically sort of highlighting how we leverage both we leverage other funding sources and other programs to support our Power of Trades program and the clients that we serve through that program. So we have a little presentation to get us started. I'll let Imen and Sebastian sort of introduce themselves as we get going. But we have a little presentation to start, and then we thought we would open it up to have a good conversation with all of you. We really want to encourage you to ask questions and to have an open dialogue and open conversation about this topic. We have been running this program for a number of years, but there's always opportunities for us to learn from you and your experiences, and we really want to encourage that. I have curated some questions for Imen and Sebastian once we've made our way through the presentation, in case there aren't questions from the crowd, but we would rather those questions come from you, if at all possible, so that we have a really open dialogue. Anything to add, Seb or Imen, before we get started?
No, I think you did great. We can introduce yourself, and we'll set the table with the two presentation of our program we'll talk about with Power of Trades and the Employment Ontario services we offer at the Y.
So I guess I'll pass it over to you, Imen, to talk us through the program a little bit and how we got started and what we're doing with the program to begin with.
Hey, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us. So I'm Imen. I'm the director of Power of Trades, and I've been with the Y since 2020 as an employer liaison, and now I'm overseeing the program locally and provincially as well. I'm going to start with an overview of what the YMCA is doing in general and what Power of Trades is, and an overview of the program as well. So as the YMCA of the National Capital Region, we act as leaders in many sectors, which is one of them health and fitness, recreation, childcare services, camps and social services, employment, pre-apprenticeship programs, trades programs as well, and many other programs that we support newcomers and the community in general in Ottawa. And our values are compassion, honesty, and respect and responsibility, and we try to show those values throughout all our everyday work and throughout our programs that we offer to the community as well. So I'm going to start with Power of Trades. So Power of Trades is one of the trades programs at the YMCA. So the National Capital Region has been a great resource when it comes to skilled trades in Ottawa and now in Ontario as well, offering a wide range of programs tailored to immigrants who wants to start a career in the skilled trades. We started Power of Trades in 2011 when it was funded by United Way initially, and then later supplemented by Immigration, Refugees and Citizens Canada starting 2013. So PC has been an integral success of immigrants securing jobs in the skilled trades. So we would offer a program our program to immigrants interested in pursuing a career in the skilled trades, or you're just getting information. If you're there just interested in getting information about the skilled trades in Ontario, how does it work, the entry points. So we, as the YMC as well, and Power of Trades, we play a huge role in promoting the skilled trades sector options that newcomers would have when they come to Canada, and to consider skilled trades as good careers for them. So the Y has also delivered many other employment programs which have supported Power of Trades activities and vice versa. And currently the Y provides several programs funded by Employment Ontario, all of which meet and succeed contractual obligations. And you'll see, and we'll talk about how we work all together to support our clients pursuing career in the trades or in employment in general. So this is a small overview of what Power Trades is offering for the community. So our clients would be reaching out to us to have a clear idea about what are the skilled trades, what are different pathways to enter the skilled trades, and options for them for their careers in the skilled trades. We offer during Power of Trades, which is a program that's a pre-employment program. We do not offer any technical training except the certifications that are a must to have and to start a career in the skilled trades. So we offer certifications that would be tailored to the trade of interest of each of our clients. We try to simplify as well the complex sector, I would say, of skilled trades, because it's 144 trades in Ontario. It could be a little bit overwhelming for someone who comes to Canada and who's new to the country as well, to understand the process, let's say, to start a career in the skilled trades. As well as we help the client to adapt to the Canadian workplace culture and to the Canadian culture in general, so that they can get a job and keep that job, avoiding so many situations that will be not lead them not to have a successful experience when they start their first job. So we do offer, so Power of Trades in general, it's two different services that we offer. It's 4-week pre-employment training. And after that training, we offer our clients an employment after the 4 weeks. And then we have the other service that we offer, which is individual counseling for our clients who are just interested to get more information about the skilled trades. They're not sure about what they want to do, or they're interested in skilled trades, but they're not available for a 4-week training. Maybe they want to start working right away. Then we offer them action plans that would help them to achieve their short and long-term goals when it comes to employment in the skilled trades. And on the other side, we have the employer part, which is a little bit, so as a Power of Trades, or as a YMCA, we consider employers our clients as well. So we do support employers as well to find good candidates to hire immigrants. And in order to do that, we work on educating employers of how is it beneficial for them to hire immigrants in their companies, and to use their knowledge and skills to make their companies even stronger with the diversity that they can offer, and then even help them if they need to make their workplace more inclusive as well. And we do offer other support as well, like they can always have access to our pool of candidates interested in the skilled trades, and in the other side, other programs at the Y would help us with that as well, to support and educate our employers to be more willing to hire immigrants. Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, Park Trade started in 2011. That it and has been it has a lot of success during those years, and we wanted to share the experience with other YMCA's in Ontario. And in 2022, we extended the program to other YMCA like GTA, so YMCA GTA and YMCA Three Rivers are offering the same program. So we have Power of Trades teams, one in GTA and one in Three Rivers as well, offering the program. In Ottawa, we do offer it in both languages, English and French, and in the two other regions is just in English. So it's the same curriculum, the same program, like a copy paste of what we have in Ottawa. It's just in three YMCA's, and we have seen a great success when it comes to support those communities there as well, interested in skilled trades in Ontario. Okay, so when it goes to the eligibility criteria, as we're funded by IRCC, we can only serve permanent residents, convention refugees. For now, we have Palestinians who holds a temporary resident visa and Kuwait visa holders as well. Our participants, whoever is interested in Power of Trades program, needs to be a resident of Ontario, be interested in working in the skilled trades, and they do not need to have any former experience in the skilled trades, whether here in Canada or outside of the country. As soon as they're interested in starting a career in the skilled trades, we're more than happy to help them achieve their goals. And we need our clients to be ready and available for full-time training, which is 4 weeks, and then available to have started an employment after the 4 weeks. And whoever is not available for those 4 weeks, who maybe they want to start working right away, we offer them individual consultations of 1 hour, and it could be maybe needed. They might need a follow-up. We can do that as well with offering an action plan that's tailored to their profile, their needs, and that's going to show them the steps that they need to follow to achieve their goals in pursuing careers in the skilled trades. Okay. That's all about Power of Trades. It could be longer, but we tried to make it a little bit shorter for you, so it's not going to be too much. And now it's the turn of Employment Access Center. That's going to be Sebastian Martin, who is going to be presenting more about Employment Access Center. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Please call me Seb. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you are. Actually, no, we're in Vancouver, so it should be good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are. Hello, everyone. My name is Sebastian Martin. I'm the Senior Director for our Employment and Newcomers Services for the YMCA of the National Capital Region. I'm here to join you to talk about our employment services that we offer for the National Capital Region. It's most likely very similar to some of the other provinces, depending on where you are, in regards to employment services that is offered for individual in the community. So I'm going to go over briefly what we offer, and hopefully maybe if you guys have some similarities, some question about that, we can open it to questions afterwards. English or French, we all speak both languages, Kathleen, Iman, and myself. Okay, so the why. So I'll go over quickly. So this is a service that we offer. This is offered across the province. No different. We're funded by the Ministry of Labor, LMITSD. They keep changing their name every week, but this is who funds our services. And this is free of charge for anyone, clients or employers who are looking for employment services, something that we offer. This is something across the province of Ontario is offered. I don't know how many service provider that there is, but there's quite a few. And the services are as listed here, resource and information, just to come drop by and just go over some information about employment. One that is mainly our reason why we get financed is we get funded, should I say, is employment and consultation services, which I'll go over the next few slides. And also access to local employers. So if an employer is looking for employment, they can come through our doors and say, I'm looking to hire X, Y, and Z in terms of position. And we're going to work with the employer to post those positions and find the right talent to join their forces. And there's the financial support for jobs seekers and employment. So we have this as well. That is we just went through a reform in Ontario in terms of employment services, and the financial support that is available for job seekers is more than ever. Okay, next slide, Iman. So on top of some of the resource information that we have a portal. So one thing that we do is our clients that comes through a door. So let's say we have Johnny who's looking for employment or just wants to better themselves in terms of the current employment situation. The one rule that we have is they have to be Ontario resident. So that is a big issue for us in Ottawa with the Quebec border right across from the river. There's quite a number of clients that comes through. If they're only English speaking, they'll come to Ottawa to look for employment. So if they're coming through and they're eligible for services, so looking for work, they're Canadian citizen, have a valid social insurance number, work permit. These are all the requirements that we need, ready to go to work. This is the right place for them to come. Once we register them and through our services, hold on, go back to the other one. We are able to sign them up into our Employment Access Center portal. So on this, since COVID, we digitalize, like most of you most likely did, digitalize all of our resources online. So we have now curated video workshops that people can go about certain topics that's related to job search or how to do an interview and things like that. So that relieves some of the burden from our staff. So for those that only are registered through our services will have access to that portal so they can get kind of curated documents that they can go navigate through so that they can have that support as needed throughout their job search journey. Next slide, Iman. So R&I, just talked about that. This is just a quick overview. Anyone can come. It's open to anyone. Doesn't matter where they're from. This is kind of a library. If you go into the library down the street, no different. There's no requirement. Someone will come. The good thing is that, at least for us at the Y, there's a suite of services that we offer that goes beyond just employment. So someone will come for maybe housing or language or newcomer services. It's all housed at the same location, so we can provide that service for all the clients. Often these topics goes hand in hand together. Someone's looking for housing, often not employment will comes into the questions, or they know someone or a spouse that needs employment. So we're trying to make it easy for clients when they come through the doors. There's already so many different pathways and different messages in the community. What kind of our message is go to the Y and then you'll get the answers that you need. I think this is pretty good. We'll jump to the next one. So this is the meat and potato, if you want. Like this is the big piece of we get funded by the ministry, is our employment consultation services. So if someone's looking for work and is eligible based on the criteria I mentioned earlier, looking for work, now they can see, most like you guys will know, an employment consultant. So one-on-one support that will be provided to them to walk them through the journey of where they are and where they want to be at the end, which is often employment. So we're walking them through kind of their coaches through their journey for that. And there's different programs they also qualify, such as Better Jobs Ontario, literacy programs, and some of the financial support. That's a big piece that just changed for Ontario, is how clients will get access to financial support to help them secure employment. But furthermore, how are they going to retain employment afterwards? So the big change that just happened in the past now few years is the retention piece for clients once they secure employment. The goal is to retain employment for up to 12 months. And anywhere from the time that they register, from the time they find employment, in 12 months after that, they can have access to financial support based on depending what the needs are, the rationale. Could be transportation, childcare, clothing. It could be tools, hard hats, security equipment, anything that could be a financial burden or barrier for the clients to find or to retain employment. The ministry now have put in place some pretty deep funds to remove those barriers for those clients. So this is something that now as clients coming through, we're getting more and more social assistance clients. This is another thing that was added is any social assistance client are coming through now. Employment Ontario, I'm not sure about the other provinces, but for this instance, Ontario, this is what they decided to do. So we do that. This is mainly what we get funded. Every service provider in Ontario will have the same kind of contract where they need to see X amount of clients for the whole year and ensure that X number of clients of them find employment. Like I said, as long as it is legal to work in Canada with a social insurance number, open work permit, and they live in Ontario, they're good to come to see us. No other restriction. Next, please. Oh, again. Job matching placement incentive. Yeah, so that's another one. So we're also mandated by the ministry to be a bridge between job seekers and employers. So one piece that we're trying to do is be more intentional with our connection with employers in the community. A lot of employers right now, I know it's not COVID anymore, and during COVID, there was a lot of bulk hiring, and it was pretty much you breathe and you have a heartbeat, you're hired. Like it was literally like a different time. Now it's a bit more tricky. Employers have kind of backtracked a little bit on that. So now we need to be more needs to be more intentional about how we're placing clients. So now we have, at least for ourselves, hire a bigger team of individual that goes in the community to really make the bridge between job seekers and employers to try to lend them a position that fits within their skill sets and their education as best as they can. With that could come as well some financial incentives. So there's also a budget for that the ministry set aside that allows us to facilitate a placement with an employer where the employer would have an incentive at the end, some kind of an hourly wage that will be given at the end of the placement. So pretty simple. Johnny gets a job, 40 hours a week. We could cover 50% of the hourly wage. So now, depending of the complexity of the job, Johnny's skill sets, blah, 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 blah. There's a lot of different factors. We can come down to be, okay, we're going to cover 50% of the hourly wage. That's its minimum wage. And at the end of X, Y, and Z, it's maximum 12 weeks or 3 months. We could come out at the end and say it's 10 weeks. It's going to be $2,500. And then if everything goes well and Johnny is still employed and all other parties are happy, we're going to cut a check to the employer for this amount. So it's kind of a way to ease clients and employers into the transition piece, the orientation piece at the beginning once parties starts to work together, and also just to showcase the employer that once they do it once, often it leads to more and more opportunity for our clients. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I just mentioned here. Already done. Discussion questions. Wow. So in a nutshell, this is what we have for employment. I know in Quebec, this is something very similar that they have. I see there's some questions. I'm not sure about if it was about what I mentioned or if it's in general. So Kathleen, as the moderator, I'm going to make you to work now. Any of those questions that we have in there that
thank you.
join to what I just talked about?
So I've been trying to answer questions as they've been coming up, but the first thing that I wanted to sort of open up as a question to both you and Iman is, how did the partnership, so you guys have done a really great job of explaining your different programs, but how did the two programs work together to better support the clients and Power of Trades?
Yeah, and so I'm going to start.
Yeah, go ahead.
So as Power of Trades is a employment training. At the end of the 4 week of the training, we need to place our clients to find them a good opportunity of work. And that's in one side. And then the other side, we need to remove some barriers to our clients. We know that they're having many barriers as well, and they do not have maybe enough experience or Canadian experience that would be helping them to get a job in the skilled trades. So in this frame, we needed employment services to support us to secure employment for our clients by, as Seb was explaining, that we do offer wage subsidies through Employment Ontario to make our clients more employable. And another side, that's for the employer. Clients need as well some additional trainings that Power of Trades, that is IRCC funded, cannot support with, and it cannot offer to our clients. Who would cover those trainings and additional support and safety equipment to our clients. We would use employment services support to better support our clients, remove as many barriers we can through employment services to work together to secure a placement for our client. As we do not have anything, like we do not have the capacity to offer any wage subsidies or support to our employers, except giving them the opportunity to get to know amazing people who are very well skilled, and they just need that first opportunity. And with employment services support, we were able to secure that and help our clients get their first experience in Canada and working in the skilled trades. Seb, do you want to add something?
Yeah, no, it's a great way, like what Imad was saying, like the partnership between the two programs is meshing very well based on the RCC restriction, especially at the level of the financial pieces that client can't get access to. It does leverage very well. It's a great match because now clients are registered for both programs. There's no conflict of interest. And once clients are navigating through the 4 weeks of in-class, non-technical classes of the pre-employment programs, we're able to learn more about what pathway the client wants. So it doesn't matter where you are in Canada. You guys all are regulated by your province, but it's similar pathways in terms of education and what you need, voluntary versus compulsory trades. And then often what comes along with training and tools and other costs is associated to it, where for now employment, that is Employment Ontario, funded by the ministry, can complement that piece, which now that remove that barrier, because if you're looking for a plumber who wants to go in, it will cost you quite a few hundreds of dollars just to get a tool bags and the essential just to get started. And an employer often will tell you, if you don't have those tools in your bag, it's not a good start. You need to have the hard toe boots, you need to have the equipment, you have all this ready to go. So there's a cost associated right off the bat that clients often don't have that kind of money to get started. So for us, leveraging and utilizing that program in conjunction with Power Trades helps those clients really not be the only reason why don't you become a plumber or why don't you go in that area of field. We don't want to hear, well, because I don't have the money to buy the tool. Like that shouldn't be a reason why. That's why it's a good fit for that. What are you, Kathleen?
Thank you. So I just want to remind you, if you want to ask a question, please raise your hand or throw it into the chat. We're open to both options. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat. We do have a question regarding financial support. Does this financial support affect people's sponsorship categories or the undertakings categories?
No, it does not. The financial, as long as the client.
Simple answer, yeah. No, it doesn't. Yeah. It doesn't affect sponsorship.
It does
so.
not. as long as the client is eligible for our services, that at least mine, I don't know where I'm looking at this is Hamey. I'm not sure where it is in in the country. I mean, if it's in Ontario, I can speak about that. Every provinces might have different eligibility. At least for Ontario, if that person is registered eligible for services, it will not affect anything. It's just an add-on to support that client to find employment.
Thank you. So I don't see any other questions from the crowd, so I'll proceed with the questions that I've curated. Through this partnership, how has the Power of Trades programs evolved over the past decade? We've been running this program in the National Capital Region for just shy of 15 years. So how has it evolved over that time to better support newcomers as they enter into the trades? Iman, maybe you can start with this one.
Yes. So Power of Trades started in 2011, and of course, the labor market changed since 2011. And what we need to do is always our main purpose is to look for the needs of our clients, and then what's happening out there, the labor market, the most in-demand trades as well. So what we do is always we keep our program. We keep updating our program and tailor our program to the reality, what's happening in the workplace, and the labor market in Ontario, in the trades, the tendency, the top in-demand trades. We even adapt our program to each group sometimes because we have we offer the training for everyone interested in skilled trades. So you might have people interested in early childhood education, others in plumbing, electrician, becoming electricians. So we always adapt that. And we have noticed as well through the years that the need has changed, and as well as the skill trades as well changed. The requirements to enter each skill trade has changed as well, and it's keep changing. So we always keep we try to be updated about everything that's happening in the skill trades, labor market, and immigration as well. How immigration is changing. So to improve our program, we always make sure the curriculum is adapted to the current situation when it comes to employment, adapting through the workplace culture. And we use resources from our program, other programs as well, like employment services. Like when the program started, we didn't have the curriculum we have now, because we learned throughout the years that our clients might need to be more adapted to the Canadian culture. And maybe our employers need to be more educated to hiring newcomers. So throughout the cohorts and the years, we learned what were the barriers for our clients, what were the issues when it comes to hiring newcomers. And through that, we have even worked with other programs like Trades Talent Link, that was mainly surveys to employers to see what employers are looking for in any candidate that would hire in the skilled trades. We learned that an employer would look for the client to be, or the candidate, or the best candidate to be more adapted to the culture, or someone who has just the basic skills, and they would do the training on the job. So we've learned a lot from other programs that we have had at the YMCA, like on tap, for example, the Ontario, let me just remember, Kathleen, Ontario, I always
Ontario Newcomer Trades Action Program.
Yeah, so on tap helped us a lot when we had to expand the program, and it played a huge role in the success of Power Trades provincially, because so the main purpose with ONTAP is to make the community aware of the skilled trades, that the employers are more educated about hiring immigrants, service providers needs to be aware of or have a little bit of more knowledge about the skilled trades as well. So those programs that we had internally helped a lot to the success of Power Trades today. We're always adapting, and now we're sharing our experience with other YMCA's so that it's gonna know the same, or it's gonna see the same success. Like we had one of the feedback from employers that they need clients or candidates who know how to work with customers. So they need at least to have those skills that will help them to work with customers and keep good customers as well. So we added service excellence training to our curriculum. So what we do is always to adapt to the demand, to the needs of employers and clients at the same time. Yes. Kathleen?
Thank
Did
you.
I answer the question?
I think so. I want to sort of turn our focus away from our program specifically and more to sort of partnerships in general and how to negotiate that sort of tricky partnership piece. So what strategies have been most effective? So I'll ask this to both Iman and Seb. What strategies have been most effective in building and maintaining this partnership? You can battle it out for who's going to answer first.
Yeah, I can go first since Iman answered the other one. I mean, I think the number one key is to have a vision. I think regarding of what you're looking for in your association is kind of what is the need right now in the community? What are you trying to get? Where are your pocket of funding? How do you apply for funding? I mean, we can go on about it, but you can't do it alone. And we're able to, at least us at the Y, created different stream of services that mesh well together. Employment, newcomer, skilled trades, these are all in high demand needs. And at that point, it's communicating between ourselves in regards to what are the direct need and the impact in the community we're trying to get, what we're trying to achieve. And at that point, it's just to try to source some funding to get your program going. One thing that works very well between the programs is how effectively the both programs serve a purpose, serve a needs with our clients in our community, but they serve the needs in different ways. They complement each other based on what the funding requirements are that we're getting. One is serving mainly newcomers that are looking to enter in the skilled trades, pre-employment, and getting that support. Meanwhile, the only way we could do it is getting funding via different funders that support employment, financial support, and meshing the two together. If, for example, we wouldn't have the YMCA an employment service provider, Iman would be most likely looking for a different service provider in the community that is funded and that will cater to the needs of what our programs right now is lacking. That's what she should be doing. So our job is to make a resounding sound in the community, like this is what we offer, and then you need something that's related to skill trades or employment, just knock on our doors and we're going to help to support you. So this by far our best strategy that we've been using that has been effective for the past, like Kathleen's saying, almost 15 years. And we're going to keep utilizing that as we move forward. And as the need of the community changes, very important is to pivot and adapt quickly. Amen.
Yeah. So as Deb was mentioning, so we try to, so Paratrace does offer specific trainings and specific support to our clients, but then we see the need of newcomers coming to a new country, the barriers that they may have, and then see how can we remove those barriers and meet those needs, even if Paratracer is not going to offer the support needed through the program. We're going to see other programs, whether it's internal or with other service providers, to see what we can do to work collaboratively to be able to better support our clients with other services, other government-funded programs, or even unions in the skilled trade. So if just an example, if we have someone who is interested in pursuing a career as a plumber, we would reach out to the union in plumbing. So they would offer us the for our clients a training that's more technical for our client to start a career in that trade. So the main purpose of just our collaborative work is to better support our clients to succeed in getting an employment in the trade that they're interested in, and then keep that job as well. So the strategies is to always be aware of what's happening outside, the new programs that are funded from the government, new tendencies, the demand out there, and be always in contact with other programs, and talk about our programs as well, to see how we work with other service providers and internally as well to support our clients.
So a key to the partnership is that it's been a win-win, right? There's obviously benefits to the Power of Trades program, and there's clear benefits to our Employment Access Center program as well. I want to come back, Iman, when you were talking about the Power of Trades, you spoke very specifically about employer engagement and connecting with employers and industry leaders. How has the partnership with the Employment Access Center and other programs enabled PT to engage more employers and industry leaders to participate in these programs?
Yeah, so when we call employers to introduce our clients, so let's say we have 4 clients who are interested in some specific trades, we would try to focus more on their strengths and show, yes, they don't have experience here in a specific trade, but they still have this and this trend that could be really beneficial for you as an employer. And then we would have the support of employment services, as employers are still our clients as well, and we need to support them. Some employers would need support from Employment Services, Employment Ontario, through YMCA Access Center, to have through wage subsidies. So when we call employers to introduce our clients to do that job matching and find good candidates for employers, we would tell them that this is the support that the YMCA could offer to you as an employer to support you and to support the client. So it's a win-win situation to the client and the employer. So we do offer wage subsidies. There is the Coach program that maybe Seb can talk about, that we have used in the couple years ago to support our employers to offer trainings for their employees. So that's mainly what Power of Trades is really. Clients are benefiting from being registered with YMCA Access Center, Employment Access Center.
Yeah, I think it's to a bit what Kathleen was scenario, like removing ourselves from programs and looking at more of a service that is offered. And then this is where one positive thing that is going to stem from that is working with our, whatever you call in your organization, an employer engagement, a job developer, someone who connects with an employer, is really to work and talk and either having meetings on a weekly basis or monthly basis, but that communicates together in regards to what is the best approach and service that we can offer to our clients, regardless of what the program is. Employers don't care, based on our experience, which program it is. They have a need. They need to hire someone. They need to advocate for their business and what's not. And our job is not to make their life more complicated. It's to provide an easy, flexible service free of charge to anybody, at least for us in Ontario, who's looking for talent acquisition. So as soon as we have that relationship built, for us is to maintain that customer service and provide the best candidate that we want. So as the skilled trades in, at least in Ontario and the country, more and more baby boomers are retiring, there's such an opportunity, a gold mine there for a lot of individual to enter the skilled trades. And there's this untapped talent of newcomers that could be a great solution to it. That often this education piece of skilled trades, understanding the different pathways and the success that it could generate for themselves and their family if they decided just to give it a shot is very real. So if you go with a voluntary trade that does not need educations and all the hours and hours and apprenticeship, you could do a really good living with this. So now it's to build that bridge between job seekers, employers, and educating both parties, because now it's educating employers sometimes about the needs of those clients and making sure that expectations are met throughout the placement, or at least the early stages of the employment. So it takes two to tango, and also in the middle trying to navigate through the placement, the employer, the expectation on both ends. So that's one way that we've been doing to make sure that the success rate is as high as possible.
Yeah.
And yeah, go ahead, man.
I just wanted to add that like the relationship we develop with employers are dynamic and ever changing and should never be taken for granted. Like it takes careful planning and organization to build, nurture, and maintain these valuable connections. Um, it's not only wage subsidy as you were mentioned, Sab. It's about the good relationship we keep with our employers. Not like even during the placement, yes, we place the clients with an employer, but then we need always to follow up and make sure the employer knows that we are there for them for any support, even throughout the placement and after that as well. We help them, we keep our employers engaged as well when they can participate in our job fairs to find good candidates when maybe our programs like Power of Trades or any pre-apprenticeship programs don't have the proper candidates to refer to them. So job fairs, any community events that we can include our employers and invite them to be part of it, and they feel like they're part of a community, of a family that is always going to be there for them. So, and by educating and supporting trades employers, we help them integrate newcomers into the workplace. That was what I wanted to add.
Before you move forward, I know I'm reading some of the questions in the chat, and I know I hope I'm pronouncing them properly, but Hamey was saying if there's any of these programs in Alberta in terms of not power trades that I'm aware of, but in terms of employment. I was doing some research on the side. White Man was talking, and there is in Northern Alberta the YMCA that provides employment services similar to what we have. And for New Brunswick, I'm not sure if they have one, but I know the province of New Brunswick has an employment service that is available. I'm not sure if there's a YMCA. I know the Fredericton and YMCA there doesn't look like they are doing any of that, but doesn't mean that there is other organization that will provide this program by the province. It just may not be by the YMCA.
So we're hearing a lot about how it's a mutually beneficial partnership. Iman, I want to direct this question to you. Can you you spoke earlier about how the program has evolved over the years, and thanks to that partnership, but also partnerships with other programs and other funded programs that we've leveraged as part of building our capacity with the Power of Trades. Can you tell us a little bit about how the specific collaboration and partnership with Employment Ontario has shaped the content of the Power of Trades program and why that's been an important piece for the success of the program?
Yeah. So throughout the years, we've learned a lot from employment services as they're still doing. Seb was mentioning earlier that there are some workshops that are for resume building, others for how to network in the work to get a job and like in a job fair. How to adapt to the Canadian workplace culture, how to adapt to the Canadian culture. So throughout these workshops, and those workshops were there even based on the need of the newcomers who are coming to the country as well in a specific time. So we used the expertise of employment services. We learned from their experience to support clients of Power of Trades. And like it's the same, they would have the same need. And we, as the Power of Trades, we need to adapt our clients to life in Canada. And one of the most important things that the employment service is doing now is still supporting our clients with resume building, for example. So they would so a client would join Power of Trades and would be automatically registered with employment services. And then employment services would help they create a resume for our client. And then what an employer liaison with Power of Trades would do is to help adapt their resume just a little bit to make it more trades adapted. Mentioning some certifications that would be a must to have for the trades, and that's helping a lot the Power of Trades program because it's supporting when it comes to save time as well for our staff to be more focused with our clients more specifically and individualized, offer them individualized support when it comes to resume. And we as well used the expertise of other programs at the YMCA when it comes to educating employers how to keep employers engaged to be able to support our clients best we can. And it's the same as you were mentioning, Kathleen. It's not only the employment services curriculum that we were using to be like as a base for us and then adapted to the trade sector, but even other programs at the Y that we leverage to make Power of Trades more successful.
So let's flip that question around and I'll ask you, Seb, how has working with the Power of Trades program impacted your Employment Ontario programming? Besides the obvious of having clients.
Yes, well, I'm going to say this is a great question, Kathleen. I'm glad that you asked me. Yeah, so one piece of information that we hear a lot in the network, at least in the Ottawa and in the province, is the lack of information and at least the lack of resources that service provider like us would have in regards to skilled trades information and educating job seekers that comes through our doors about the pathways in the skilled trades that are available for them that they just don't know about. So often someone might, for example, I'm going to use Johnny and again, Johnny, I pick on him a lot. Johnny's just got laid off and he's looking maybe to try something new. Johnny might be an accountant that got, by profession, what's not, but Johnny doesn't know what Johnny doesn't know. And this is where that if you got employment counselor or case manager that don't know the different pathways, likely the different options available for job seekers in regards to skilled trades, Johnny will never know what's available out there because the skilled trades is wide. People think right away construction, plumber, electrician, but it's way beyond that. So one area that's been very beneficial for a program is that education piece between the two programs. It's that Power Trades, who are leaders and experts in the province, in regards to skill trades information and different pathways, and it's so convoluted. I'm not sure what it is. The same thing in your province. In Ontario, it's a pain in the butt. And this is where that having individuals that are up to date and able to, in a way, educate other service provider or other organization about those pathways is crucial. So we're lucky enough it's in our own house. I can just walk across the hallway and talk to Imad and her team and get a staff meeting and educate our case manager that don't have that piece of information, that don't have this up-to-date information, because applying to, let's say, an accounting firm versus applying to I don't know, an electrician job or a baker or something like that, they're very different resume, very different approach how to apply. Skilled trades, from what I'm concerned, more old school. You gotta go in person. You gotta showcase your all these basic skill of being on time, be organized, and all that stuff. This is gold. This is just even more important almost than your education or your piece of paper. Are you reliable? These are things that we hear nonstop from employers. This is what we're looking for right now, where maybe more administrative tasks, there's just more individual applying for that. The competition is just more harder. I just posted a position myself for a receptionist for one of our program at the Y, and I received hundreds of resumes. This is just like hundreds. The table have shifted here where employers have just more and more individual looking for work. Where skill trades, I'm hearing, is the opposite. A lot of positions, they're in need. There's just this area of individual that could be leaning towards skilled trades that could be something beneficial. So we're tapping into what we have between the power trades and our employment and learning from both parties in that regards, because we're coming from two different worlds, but they also could be meshing together for a greater support for our clients, because that's the service we want to provide to anyone coming through our doors.
So I'm looking at the time, and I just wanted to open it up to questions from all of you. If you have questions, feel free to put them into the chat or raise your hand. We'd love to hear your questions, and if you had anything that you wanted, any comments or anything you wanted to add to the conversation. If not, I have more questions that we could keep moving with. Obviously, we're talking here about a collaboration and a partnership between two different programs within the same organization. Iman, as the Y was expanding this program across the province, not all the regions that we worked with had internally within their own organization the same opportunities. Can you speak really briefly? I don't want to dive into too many details, but obviously this is a key to the success of this of the Power of Trades program. How did that sort of play out in the other regions in terms of building those partnerships and maintaining that collaboration between Power of Trades and Employment Ontario in those regions?
Yeah. So for us, we were lucky to have employment services with us in the same building. We have learned from them. It's super easy to reach out to our team there. So yeah, I really consider us really lucky, because when it went to Power Trades extended to other YMCAs, not all YMCAs had employment services within the organization. So then they had to create new partnerships with other service providers who would offer that support that Power Trades couldn't offer. And so if the client needs an additional support that Power Trades cannot offer, they would leverage that relationship and partnership with other service providers, or even with other sometimes employers would offer trainings, offer safety boots, so they had to try to find new ways to get to meet the need of our clients as PT Power of Trades clients, to look for new partnerships and develop that. I noticed that where on tap was in some regions, it worked much better because the the labor market or service providers, employers in that area were ready for power of trades. They were already having the knowledge required about skilled trades. They have already started those relationships with service providers. So they had already those connections. For those regions, it was a little bit more easier than others who didn't have on-tap program that would prepare the land for this kind of expansion for the program. Yes, it has been a challenge, but for now, the great thing is like we created new partnerships by expanding Power of Trades to other YMCAs. Which is a great resource and a great achievement when it comes to other YMCAs, creating new partnerships and working together with other service providers to support immigrants who wants to work in skilled trades.
Thank you so much. So we've heard a lot about the successes and a lot about the benefits. Let's take an opportunity to sort of look at what some of the challenges has been. Obviously, when you talk about partnerships, not everything always goes smooth sailing. So I'll ask this to both of you, what have been some of the challenges of this collaborative model?
Oh, let me go first, Kathleen. My goodness, challenges? Let me talk about PT. Well, one thing that is for sure was and is still a problem is mainly for the client's point of view. There could be some confusion for a client who applies to the Power of Trades program or any program of yours where there's a partnership. And for the client understanding, what am I getting out of the Power of Trade? Why am I not suddenly registering for this other program? Why can it not be all serving to the Power of Trades? So we've seen the past clients being confused between the two programs, and now there's more people involved. Who's doing what? So there's also with the staffing, people who assume that the other one's going to do it. We're going to assume certain ways, like the resume is not being done or whatever. Like there's so many areas that often will lead to confusion or assumption between the two parties. So client 100%, this is often what it is why do I do this? And this is why we have to take our time to walk them through the benefit of registering, the power of being registered between the two programs, and what really brings out of them in order to succeed for the next 4 weeks and beyond that. They're really a member of our organization, not just of a program, and we're just utilizing our different services to make sure that the client gets what they need. Iman.
Yeah, I totally agree. To be honest with the collaboration with YAC, with employment services has been overwhelmingly positive. We have not encountered a major issue that would negatively impact any of the programs. So we've developed effective strategies to ensure that Power of Trades clients are registered with employment services from the beginning of each cohort, so that this way they can fully benefit from Employment Ontario support, so that they will be ready for an employment after the training, like right after we finish the 4-week training. So clear communication is crucial to avoid duplicating services, such as paying twice for the same training. For example, Working at Height certification would be offered by Power of Trades, and then is going to be offered at the same time from a case manager with employment services. But the more we communicate, the more we're going to avoid those situations where we are not sure, as Seb was mentioning, does the case manager needs to support the client with this and this need, or power of trades, employer liaisons would have to support that. But like mainly, I think that's as soon as it's the client is getting the support needed, we're trying to find ways to avoid those challenges to make the communication smoother and make both teams work more closely together to be more effective in our support.
So I think we have time for one last question. I got the 10-minute warning a little while ago from, so we've just got a few minutes left, and I'm going to skip ahead. I had a bunch of other questions, but we've run out of time. I want to talk about, explore sort of the future directions and things that the Power of Trades and the employment services have implemented and put in place to for the future of the programming. So how have you ensured, and this is a question to both of you, how have you ensured that the outcomes of this partnership were sustainable? And I guess, Iman, to you, ensuring that it has also been scalable. We've talked a lot about our local setup, but we've scaled this across different regions of the province. What have you put in place to ensure that scalability and also the sustainability of the partnership?
So whether it's in Ottawa, YMCA Ottawa, or GTA or Three Rivers, we make sure that the partner that we're working with are going to be benefiting from the partnership. Still always follow up, keep continuous follow up with them, and assess our successes, both of us. So for us, it's going to be the rate of placements that we have. And I've seen that when we created more partnerships with service providers or Employment Ontario in general, we had a higher rate of placements and more successes. And we even reached our targets through thanks to those partnerships. And then the other side, our partners are having their own targets, and we're helping them achieving their targets, offering supports for them as well when it comes if they want to educate their staff, for example, about skill trades. We always try to find new ways to offer the more support they need and listen from the employers, listen from the partners, listen from service providers. What are their needs, and how, as the YMCA or as Power of Trades, could we offer them support to achieve their targets and be more successful?
Zeb, I'm giving you 2 minutes.
Yeah, no, great. Well
Same
said,
question
man.
to you.
At the end of the day, just to wrap it up, you need to look for your own self-interest of the program. So this is where that the needs of the Power Trades and the need of the Employment Ontario program that we have, it was a match made in heaven. And I was looking through some of the different provinces. You have all similar, maybe different funders, but similar services that is available that you could partner with different agencies or someone else that provide that that gap in your service that you maybe provide in your program, what's not. In regards to scalability, yes, this is something that we wouldn't be able to scale to GTA and Three Rivers and other region if we didn't at least have the success in the house of the Power of Trades and the successful partnership that could be replicated across the country. We know there's Employment Ontario across the country. Can we do Power of Trades in New Brunswick? I don't see why not. The pathways for skilled trades is the same. Maybe the regulation and rules are a bit different, but it's still the same pathway. Same thing with different provinces. So there's definitely a need there, and in regards to the scalability, and that's something that we've been doing so far. So you go, Kathleen. Less than 2 minutes.
Thank you so much. Iman, do you want to share your screen again? We can throw up our contact information. Last opportunity for questions. I haven't seen any additional questions added to the chat, but if you have a question, please raise your hand or throw it up in the chat. We'd be happy to answer it. And Iman's just gonna throw up on the screen for you guys our contact information if you had any follow-up questions following today's presentation. Okay, if no one has any questions, thank you so much for attending today. It was a great opportunity for us to share some information about one of our programs. And you have up on the screen now my contact information and Sed's contact information. If you have any questions, burning questions after the fact you'd like to connect with us directly, that we more than encourage you to do so. Any final words, Iman or Seb?
No, thanks so much. You got a contact, send us an email or something, and then yeah, we'll get back to you probably when we're back in Ottawa. So I'll talk to you guys. We'll talk to you guys then.
Okay.
All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks so much, guys.
Thanks so much. Have a great evening.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.